anybody has any questions, this is actually going to be, I think, our bonus episode after this is out. So feel free to any of us or to Ryan, whomever you want to get shared with.
Okay, so thank you very much. Sorry for my English, I'm Spanish, okay, I'm exchanging here now, so sorry for that. But I wanted to ask, like, nowadays it is said that the personal brand is one of the most important things when doing business. Which advice would you give to build a personal brand from scratch?
To build your brand, again, know what you're passionate about. Don't try to cookie cutter what someone else is doing, Definitely show your style, your envision, and what you're passionate about. You should be able to look at your logo or your branding and be happy and smile about it because you enjoy it. And hopefully other people gravitate towards it and enjoy it. And, we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier about branding and things like that. I have the colors I have for Milwaukee Makers Market, the hot pinks, the hot blue, the yellow, because it stands out in magazines. I enjoy those colors. I even did research on those colors, and those colors kind of give a sense of joy when you look at them, and that's what I wanted as well. And I felt like that gravitated with me a little bit too. And so, try not, yes, you can be inspired by other things, but don't just cookie cutter it. Stand out, use what is important to you in your branding, and of course, work hard at it, because, people are gonna see what you're doing, and they might try to steal it and then be that face and that style, where it's like, no, keep pushing your branding, keep doing what you're doing. Because I've even had to send out cease and desist letters. I've had out-of-town market companies come into Milwaukee to do a show, and I see their flyer, and it's all the same colors, the same font, and they even tried to sneak the word Milwaukee in there where it said Makers Market, and I was like, I own those words. You're using my colors, my fonts. You better go somewhere. Like, you better change it. So when you follow your style and your passion and you keep pushing it and getting it out there, you're going to realize that people will gravitate towards it because it's unique, it's you, and somebody then is going to want to cookie cutter what you're doing and copy it. Yeah. So definitely stay true to yourself, for sure.
This question hits deep. I've built my sort of speaking life on a brand, and what I would say is that if you have to think too hard about it, then it's not your brand. I think it comes very naturally to who you are. So, for example, my company's called Authentically You, and so I go up when I speak, I'm very real, and that's not for everyone. I've actually had schools who have been like, hey, we don't want you talking about this, and I'm like, that's my story. So like, if you don't want that, we're probably not going to work well together. And I've said no to people like that. So it's a very critical piece of what you do, but it's also it's you. That's your brand. And so you decide on it. You decide what's important to you. And to Ryan's point, people are attracted to that. You can tell people when they're faking it. I mean, you probably all know people who are trying to be something they're not. So whatever you're building, whatever your passion is, be authentic in it, and you will have a lot more fun that way. And people will know that you're very real in what you're doing. And I think it's critical to building up who you are.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Conveniently, everything I'm breaking and entering is grayscale. It's all black and white. You know that. That is because when I started it was cheap to print stuff. It was cheaper to print everything black and white, so the logo is black or it's white, because color prints were all of a sudden way more. And we were doing like apparel and stuff, and that was, so it was a cost thing. But to go off of what you guys were saying too, I also deal with like content creation all the time. I'm in front of a camera more than I thought I ever would be. But you can tell when somebody is making, like, you guys see this on like TikTok and Instagram, you can tell when somebody's really trying to force it and try to like do something that's like for a headline or to get clicks or to get attention kind of thing, and it doesn't feel like it's a natural voice. That's what you want to avoid. You want to avoid that feeling, and you're gonna all make something, or either it's content or create something for your business or whatever. You're all gonna do something that at some point you're gonna be like, just doesn't feel right. Avoid that. Push that away, because you want to do the thing that, like we've all said, the thing that you like doing best.
And it should be fun. Your brand is fun to you.
Yes.
And when people see you having fun, they come flocking. Yeah. Great question.
Thank you.
And thank you for being here. What other questions do we have out there? Don't be scared. There you go. And if you could say your name as well before you give it,
I'm Tice. I'm a junior here at Marquette. I heard you mentioning earlier about creating art that customers like. How do you navigate trying to display new art that you want to possibly sell when you see that the audience is gravitating more towards the style of art that you kind of want to just leave in the past?
I'll take this one.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to wrap my head around that question. Yeah, I mean, you know, I came out with a whole series of art that I was taking my photography, I changed it into stencils, and I was spray painting my photos as stencils, and nobody bought it. And I put it in my garage for, I kid you not, 6 years. And then I did a show last minute, and I was like, oh man, I gotta find stuff. I pull out all this stuff from my garage at 6 years old, and I sold all of it that night. So still believe in what you're creating, even though if it's just not the right time, that it will be eventually, that somebody again will gravitate towards your style. But then yeah, talk to people where, cool, I did a show or I'm creating artwork and you know, I had a couple sales that people really gravitated towards, but then I got artwork that's left over. Ask people, hey, why did you want to buy this? You know, was it what they just saw visually, or was it the techniques? So what type of medium are you? Like for art, you're saying you make art?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more or less just like streetwear.
Okay. So clothing design and stuff? Fantastic. Yeah. I mean, again, something that you'd want to wear. I see you rocking the Unfinished Legacy socks. Brema is a great person.
Is the best.
Yeah, I mean, that you definitely want to see somebody doing great locally, especially in fashion. Yeah, Brema's a huge inspiration in that. But yeah, I mean, I've had Mild Fever who does local clothing, and you can tell it's one of his styles because it just stands out right away. And some people gravitate towards a certain style, and then a couple months later, this other style, you know, hey, I'm selling for $5 on the website, things like that. So don't be afraid to just try those things. But yeah, you know, you'll see obviously what people want more and more and more, and that's where, to at least not seem like it's stale, then just change the colors up, you know, change the font a little bit. But you'll see, I mean, obviously I'm sure we've all seen Milwaukee Home, and there's lovers and haters of that. You know, I own some Milwaukee Home stuff, and other people have been like, that's so stupid, like, it's just a square and it's just Milwaukee Home. It's like, no, you notice it right away. It stands out, it's their brand, and it's local clothing. So whether yours is local themed or not, you know, if it's just, you know, your style, like, yeah, talk to people. They're your best, you know, because your voice is always going to tell you, oh, I love it, or I hate this, what am I even doing, why am I finishing this? Because you're your own worst critic, of course. But then, you know, have that ear open to not only your friends, definitely talk to one of your real friends where they're not just going to go, oh, yeah, it's the greatest thing ever, okay, whatever. No, be like, let your friend tell you, this is garbage, I wouldn't wear it. And let your friends go, this is dope, like, please make more of these. So yeah, you know, talk to people in the scene, talk to other clothing designers, you know, talk to somebody like Brema, you know, have that drive and motivation in yourself to go, this is something I would wear, this is something I want to see out on the street. And then, yeah, you know, don't listen to the haters, that's for sure, but get some good feedback from people that want to purchase your stuff or that want to rock your stuff. Because, yeah, I mean, I've done a couple clothing designs, and it was just my friends that were rocking it. But then when one of their coworkers wanted one, I was like, oh, snap, okay. And then when I'm seeing it out at a bar, someone's wearing my stuff, oh, I got it as a gift. I'm like, well, I made that. Like, so, you know, that's where, yeah, you know, kind of what we were talking about even with Brandy, but yeah, with clothing design, don't be afraid to get feedback from people for sure. And yeah, you know, see what's out there in the industry that can inspire you locally. So just more streetwear, you were saying, and stuff like that?
Yeah, more.
Sweet, yeah. I mean, I think streetwear is such a great, you know, path where, especially in skateboarding, you know, you have Supreme that is huge. And I knew Supreme because it was part of skateboarding culture. So again, it got big because they trusted in their own culture, they trusted in their own group of friends to make it big. So again, trust in your vision, trust in your culture and your style to make it big. Because it could take some time, but don't get discouraged just because you had, you know, a couple bad graphics that didn't do well, you're gonna have that one that's gonna pop. And that's where you can wear it yourself and be proud of it. Don't be afraid to wear your own stuff too. That's definitely something I'll say, because you're gonna hear somebody say, just walking through campus, "Oh, I like that, where'd you get it?" "Oh, I actually made it myself." So yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
How's it going? I'm Jace, junior here. Every time I've came to one of these events here, I've walked away with something new, so I thank you guys for that. It's really important. I think people would agree. And that being said, something that came to my mind is, how do you price art? Your art specifically, or just kind of art in general? How do you go about that?
I love that question, because I do consulting as well for some of these small businesses, and that question always gets brought up. And it's a crazy road to navigate, because obviously you want to pay for your materials. So that's the first thing I think you should always cross off your list. It costed me this much to make, I got to cover that cost. And then, okay, I put my blood, sweat, and tears, which equals 20 hours. Do I want to pay myself 20 hours for that? Or am I okay getting paid 10 hours of that? And then how much is an hour? So am I charging $1 an hour? So then, okay, well, if somebody wanted me to commission this, what would I charge them? Oh crap, And so definitely get your material cost back. Me, sadly, I don't charge for my time as much as I should. That's more of like an add-on, depending how much it's going to cost. But then, kind of seeing the market, whether it is a painting or something like that. Perfect example, Demi Doodles, I'll give her a shout out. She did one of my East Side art markets. She had original paintings for $20. And some of the larger ones, like a 16 by 20 original painting for $40. 15 minutes into the event, I go up to her and I go, "These are a steal. These are originals, not prints." I said, "I sell prints for $20. You're selling originals for $20? I said, "Add an extra zero onto that." And she goes, "Yeah, right." I go, "Add an extra zero onto that." An hour later, she sold it for $200. Something she was willing to sell for $20, because that paintbrush, that bottle of paint, and that canvas costed her $20. So she wasn't charging for her time and her talents. And that's where you do have to realize that somebody's buying this not because, they enjoy, maybe it's fan art, let's say it was like Pokemon fan art or something like that. Yeah, they might be interested in it because it's something they enjoy, but they're buying it because it's handmade, it's done by a local artist, and there's a reason they're not going to GameStop just to buy some generic Google art when they are willing to spend hundreds of dollars on handcrafted artistic work. So, do I think your first piece of art should be $2,000? That's for you to decide. But definitely, again, knowing your audience where, cool, I can bump my price up now. I see that it's selling, this size is selling for $100. Well, now I'm gonna make something bigger. I can sell that for $300. So now you're charging by size, not necessarily cost and time. You're charging by size. And just inflation. I hate to say it, my booth fee used to be $40. This year it's $90. But again, cost of advertising is going up, my venue costs are going up and things like that. And thankfully, these small businesses are realizing, hey, we get it, you're not being greedy, just costs are going up. So I may have answered your question, but to answer your question, yeah, cover your costs, cover your time if you can, because your time is valuable, even if you enjoyed doing it. And that's where I feel like some of these artists go, well, why am I charging for my time? I enjoyed painting, so I'm just gonna sell it for cost. No, your time is valuable. So if you think you're worth, $10 an hour for having fun, then charge $10 an hour that it took you into that. I've sold a painting that took a month and a half to create. I spent money on framing it myself, and I sold it for $1,000. And I was like, holy cow, that's definitely the most expensive thing I've ever sold as an artwork. And that's where it was 4 feet by 3 feet. So right there, I'm like, $500 at a minimum for something this large. My time, it took me a month and a half. All right, let's do the math. I'm charging $10 an hour and I spent this many hours on it. Well, that's maybe another $400. And then the canvas was a $100 canvas. So boom, I'm at $1,000. And I was happy with that price as well. So yeah, don't ever be afraid to charge something. If you do have a $1,000 price tag on something and it doesn't sell, you know, you can always drop it or, you know, put or best offer, but don't ever sell yourself short. That's definitely the thing. You know, you see these artists where they have the $10 bucket sometimes, and I go, nobody would know that's the $10 bucket if you didn't have a $10 bucket. If you displayed them and had price tags on them, I feel like sometimes that $10 bucket just sits and sits and sits because the person, the patron, doesn't see the value in it. And so that's where you have to see the value in what you're creating too, to get them to see the value in it. So yeah, I mean, I could sell them out of everything on my table if I priced it at $10, but that's just because they just go, oh yeah, it's just a cheap gift, I'll give it to whoever. So make sure to put a higher price tag on it too, so believe it or not, the public holds value to it. So, you know, when I got into this maker scene, I never bought a $20 candle in my life. And now I'm spending $30 on a candle that's handcrafted in my neighborhood, and I freaking love it. So yeah, never sell yourself short, cover your costs, cover your time, and just, you know, go to a gallery and see what is kind of selling, you know. I've gone to different shows and you see that little red tag and I go, yeah, I totally would have spent $400 on this. Or, you know, you see a crazy price that's sold for it and it's the size of a postcard. But again, that's where I don't know the backstory. I don't know how it was created, what their style was, and how long it took them to create it. So yeah, have faith in yourself when pricing something. I may have dodged the question a little bit because again, you know, a t-shirt and fashion might be a totally different price from a painting. You know, somebody making candles, obviously it's going to be differently priced than somebody making ice cream. But again, they're all putting their blood, sweat, and tears into it, and they all calculated what's worth their cost. But you got to keep the lights on. So that always charge a little bit more than what you actually think it's worth. You know, like I said, she was selling an original painting for $20. I was like, you are worth more than $20. Put another zero on it, and she was so ecstatic when she sold that $200 painting. So yeah, believe in yourself and believe in the price that you put on your work.
Excellent.
Anybody else? We're good? Think so?
Well, thank you guys for coming out tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Ryan, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.